Our first book that we read about was by Ezra Jack Keats was called The Snowy Day. The second one that we're going to do now is called Whistle for Willie. And the reason I chose that one is because it's whistle for Willie, and that's the sound that letter W makes. And again, it's Ezra Jack Keats writing Whistle for Willie and published by the New York Viking Press. Whistle for Willie. Look at the puppy dog there. Oh, how Peter wished he could whistle. He saw a boy playing with his dog, and whenever the boy whistled, the dog ran straight right to him. Peter tried and tried and tried to whistle, but he couldn't. So instead, he began to turn himself around and around and around. He whirled faster and faster and faster. And when he stopped everything, turned down and up and down and all around and around. In other words, he was pretty dizzy. And Peter saw his dog Willie coming, and quick as a wink, he hid in an empty box in a carton lying on the sidewalk. Wouldn't it be funny if I whistled, thought Peter. Willie, would you stop and look all around who it was? Peter tried again to whistle, but he couldn't. So Willie walked on. And Peter got out of the carton and started home. And on the way home, he took some colored chalk out of his pocket. And he drew a long, long line. See his big line that he's drawn there? And he drew it right up to his door. And he stood there and he tried to whistle again. He blew till his cheeks were tired, but nothing happened. And he went into his house and put his father's old hat on to make himself feel more grown up. He looked into the mirror and practiced whistling. Still no whistle. And when his mom saw what he was doing, Peter pretended that he was his father. And he said, "I've come home early today, dear. Is Peter here?" And his mother answered, "Why, no, he's outside with Willie." "Well, I'll go out and then I'll look for him," said Peter. And first he walked along a crack in the sidewalk, and then he tried to run away from his shadow. You can never run away from the shadow. And then he jumped off of his shadow, and when he landed, they were together again. And he came to the corner where the carton was. And who should it be but Willie, his puppy dog. And Peter scrambled under the carton, and he blew, and suddenly, a real whistle! Willie stopped, and he looked around to see who it was. "It's me!" Peter shouted, and he stood up, and Willie raced to see him. Long dog. Oh, and Peter ran home to show his father and mother what he could do. He went. They loved Peter's whistling, and so did Willie. And Peter's mom asked him and Willie to go on an errand to the grocery store. And they whistled all the way there, and they whistled all the way home. He had fun. Thank you.